causes of high cholesterol. Everybody talks about high cholesterol, what you have high cholesterol, you should take medication, maybe exercise. I'm going to talk about what might be causing it. So it's kind of a fun little twist on what we usually do. Now, if you're new to the show, the way this works is like this. I will talk for 24 minutes. We record this, by the way, so this becomes a podcast. Then you, at any time throughout that 24 minutes, can type in any health questions you might have, anything about anything. Garrett, my producer, will then read the questions to me. I'll answer them. And then we do another 24 minutes, and then I do another question and answer session. If you're listening live, put in hashtag live right now. If you're listening recorded, put in hashtag replay. Hashtag live, hashtag replay. And if you would, type in where you're listening from. It's always fun to find out where folks are listening from, so I always enjoy that too. I just do that for myself. That means nothing except for me. So just type in, Australia, England, Atlanta, wherever you are. And that's how the game is played. So it's really kind of a fun little game here. As soon as Garrett and John are done typing away there, they're going to tell me to start, and we're going to get rocking. So we ready, Garrett? One more? You plug in the phone. Hold on, plug in the phone. We use our phone as our camera. I don't want the batteries dying on you. John is going to, Garrett's going to figure it out there. He's doing it blindly. It's just amazing how he did that. Okay, you ready, John? Okay. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with us today. What we're going to talk about today is something you've never heard before. We're going to talk about why you might have high cholesterol. Everybody talks about high cholesterol. Take medication, exercise, eat oatmeal. But nobody talks about why you have the high cholesterol. And so today is going to be very enlightening because the number one drug that I see patients taking is blood pressure medication. The number two drug I see patients taking is cholesterol medication. And so if you're not on it yet, chances are pretty good you may be put on it unless we do things to stop that. So let's jump right in. Why do you have high cholesterol? Number one, stress. Chronic stress causes a lot of health problems, of course, including high cholesterol. Now, research shows that it raises your LDLs, what's called the bad cholesterol, and lowers your good cholesterol. So there's three different types of stress, and the stress can cause your body to produce cortisol and adrenaline. Now, cortisol is a hormone, and that triggers changes that may lead to higher blood sugar and more inflammation. And over time, this can cause the liver to pump out more cholesterol and also the body to produce something called triglycerides. So what happens is when you're under stress, the body needs cholesterol. Let me back up a little bit. The body needs cholesterol. Cholesterol is absolutely necessary. We use it for our cell walls. We use it to produce hormones. And so one of the things we find that if people are on cholesterol medications and have low cholesterol, they have a higher risk of Alzheimer's disease. Now, I'm not saying don't lower your cholesterol. I'm saying be careful about how you do it because there are side effects to that. And if you take a cholesterol medication, which again, if you do, that's your call. You and your doctor make that call. If you're taking a cholesterol medication, it shuts down or suppresses an enzyme in your liver that produces cholesterol. Well, simply put, that same enzyme that produces cholesterol produces something called coenzyme Q10, CoQ10. CoQ10 is necessary because it gets into your cells and it essentially feeds something called the mitochondria. Again, I'm keeping it real simple here. The mitochondria generate electricity in the cells. It's the powerhouse of the cells. And so if you're taking cholesterol medication, you're lowering your CoQ10 levels and the cells can't function as well as they should. So one thing I recommend to my patients is that if somebody's on a cholesterol medication, they start taking a CoQ10 supplement because it's really important to do that. It can help get that energy back because so many people that take cholesterol medications are just so tired all the time and they can't function and their muscles are weak and they can't lift like they used to. But what about your heart? Your heart's a muscle. How about your blood vessels? How about your colon? How about your sex organs? These are all muscles that need the CoQ10 to generate electricity in the mitochondria. And so a lot of things stop working or don't stop, but slow down their function when we got to put that CoQ10 back in there. So let's see if we can find out why you have the high cholesterol and maybe get to the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms. That's my whole protocol for the past 40 years. So there's three types of stress: chemical, physical, and emotional stress. Chemical stress is your diet, your environment, and we've done many, many, many shows and podcasts on that. And if you go to my website, drjoe.com, we have over 4,000 hours of content stored on the website, drjoe.com. So just type in the search bar what you're looking for. Chances are we've done something on it. So chemical stress is, again, your environment, your food. Physical stress, how about pain? Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica. How many people have that? Raise your hands. Most of you do. In fact, it's the number 2 reason people lose time from work. Number 1 is a common cold. Number 2 is pain, back pain. And chiropractic care, by the way, as a side note, is the most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. So if you have back pain, I don't know why, and I can't imagine what universe you're living in, that you're not going to a chiropractor first to try to get rid of the pain, get to the cause of the pain. Again, that's what chiropractors do. Now, sometimes you need drugs, sometimes you need surgery, sometimes you need injections. I get that. But let's start with the simplest, most effective, least dangerous protocol, and then we can always build from there if we need to. Most cases you don't. So chiropractic care, absolutely. That's physical stress. And then emotional stress. I can't fix the fact that your mom passed. I can't fix the fact that you're having problems in your relationship. I can't fix the fact you lost your job or whatever your emotional stress is. However, I can help you fix the chemical and the physical. And then in most cases, the emotional is much easier to manage. In many cases, non-existent. And we've done a lot of shows on that. That's not today's show. We're talking about cholesterol today. So get to the cause of your stress to help lower your cortisol levels, to help bring down the sugar in your blood, because cortisol releases sugar into the blood. Body thinks it's under attack. And then sugar, we're going to talk about in a second, can actually raise your cholesterol levels. That's why diabetics oftentimes have cholesterol problems. Another cause of high cholesterol, surprise, surprise, unfiltered coffee. A French press, Turkish coffee, espresso. What happens is they can brew up trouble with your cholesterol. How about that? Cute, huh? Now, these coffees don't use a filter. So there's oily compounds that are found in the beans. They're called diterpenes, and they are in the coffee. When you use a filter, it filters these things out. These oils can raise your low-density lipoproteins, your bad cholesterol. The cholesterol actually, can cause problems. And just one or two servings a day can be an issue. So, again, I'm not a fan of coffee. I consider it one of my 7 deadly sins of nutrition: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. And if you're new to the show, you just got mad at me because I talked about your whole diet. But the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, coffee is one of them. If you're going to drink coffee, here's my rules. Number 1, you have to use a filter. Make sure you use an unbleached filter, because many times you have bleach in the filter, and bleach can get into your coffee. We don't want that. You wouldn't drink bleach, would you? So find a filter that's unbleached. And then number 2, make sure the coffee is organic. Because coffee is, depending on the study you read, one of the most highly sprayed foods, if not the most highly sprayed food with chemicals. And so organic, you're going to at least take that out of the equation. If you could do organic decaf, better still. Regular decaf, many times they'll use things like turpentine to try to get the caffeine out. So I don't recommend that. That's why if you're going to do coffee, it's got to be organic. Bonus points for decaf. Triple bonus points if you use an unbleached filter. So that's my rules on coffee. But surprisingly, you have high blood cholesterol, and here you are sucking down espresso every day, and you can't figure out why. Maybe, just maybe, that's the cause. Medications, some drugs have an unexpected effect on cholesterol. Certain birth control pills, corticosteroids, antivirals, anticonvulsive drugs. Some medications for high blood pressure, like diuretics and older form of beta blockers, they too can raise your cholesterol. So if you're on a medication and you have high cholesterol, talk to your treating doctor and say, hey, listen, could this blood pressure, could this birth control, could this cholesterol, well, it's not cholesterol, could this beta blocker, could this be causing or affecting my cholesterol levels? And there may be a different version of that same drug that doesn't have those side effects. Who would have ever thought your blood pressure medication is causing you to take cholesterol medication? Not a kick in the head. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. What we're talking about today are surprising causes, and we're going to talk later about what to do about it, surprising causes and then treatments for high cholesterol. And it happens all the time. Patients come in and say, Dr. Joe, I have high cholesterol. And I say, not to be a jerk, but I say, why? And they say, what do you mean why? I have high cholesterol. Did the doctor ever talk about why you might have it or what you can do to perhaps lower it naturally? No, never had that conversation. Well, I'm not a medical doctor. I can't tell you to take drugs or not take drugs. But I can tell you things that have been shown to help. And in this world, I got a lot of things I can tell you about. So medications can be an issue. Another issue, and this is a common issue, is thyroid problems. Now, your body uses thyroid hormones to help remove extra cholesterol that you don't need. How many people knew that? I bet you nobody. Your thyroid hormones can remove cholesterol out of your blood. So if you have an underactive thyroid, what's called hypothyroidism, your levels of total and the LDL, bad cholesterol, go up. Now, again, I say bad cholesterol. You need all cholesterols. But the one kind of carries it out to the blood. The low dense lipoproteins and the high dense lipoproteins carry the cholesterol out of your blood back into the liver. So we say good and bad. There's no good and bad. There's not so good and not so bad. But you need them all. So if you have symptoms of hypothyroidism, fatigue, dry skin, muscle weakness, aches and pains, get tested. We can do it in our office if you want us to test it. We can even send you a kit, and you can do it, remotely. But get your thyroid tested and find out what's going on. Now, when it comes to hormones, the general screening is important. But there's a test that we do that's even more in depth. It's called a Dutch test, D-U-T-C-H. And a Dutch test not only says, hey, I have low cholesterol or high hormones. I shouldn't say cholesterol. It tests hormones. But it says where in the process it might be. So when you produce a hormone, this becomes a hormone. So where along the line is there a kink or break in the link that could be causing the problems? So that's why we do a much deeper analysis when it comes to hormones than just the basic stuff. So you do want to get that checked. Because if you have these symptoms and you have hypothyroidism and now you're on cholesterol medications and cholesterol is necessary for hormone production, isn't that an interesting twist? You keep lowering your cholesterol, but you need the cholesterol to produce the hormones. Kind of a catch-22 there. So anyway, what we're talking about today are causes of high cholesterol. Causes. Nobody ever talks about that. Type 2 diabetes and sugar. Of course, high sugar in the blood. This makes the cholesterol more harmful. For example, people with type 2 diabetes tend to have more small LDL particles, the ones that carry the cholesterol out to the blood, and that raises the risk of heart disease. Now, there are also lower amounts of protective good cholesterol, the HDLs, as well. So these cholesterols may not work as well if you have diabetes. So when I say diabetes, I also talk about high blood sugar. So if you're eating a high sugar diet, if you're eating a lot of breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, candy, cakes, sugars, this too can raise your cholesterol levels because of the reaction we just talked about. So a lot of the things I'm talking about, a lot of things you're doing. I know you are. Been in practice. I've seen patients between my internships and everything about 40 years. And so I kind of know what you're doing. I see you when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake. Because I know what people do. People do what people do. And I know this. And there's so many things that you can do every single day to help improve your health, including getting cholesterol numbers where they want to be. Now, again, if you have high cholesterol, there's a reason why you have high cholesterol. This doesn't happen. An angel comes down from heaven and says, you have high cholesterol, Joe. No. What am I doing that my body is causing itself to produce this excess cholesterol? That's what we're talking about. What are you doing? Maybe it's genetics. Well, you have genetics. You have genes in your body. But maybe it's your coffee. Maybe it's your diet. Maybe it's your sugar. Maybe it's your stress. It's your cortisol levels. That's what we're getting at today. Menopause. Sex hormone estrogen affects your cholesterol levels. When estrogen levels fall after menopause, your cholesterol goes up. Now, there could be a number of things, but one of the things could be, this is hypothesis, is that the cholesterol is being used to make estrogen. It's the precursor, the building block of estrogen. If you have less estrogen, you're not using up as much cholesterol. Research shows that the LDLs, the low-density lipoproteins, and the total cholesterol levels raise after you have your final menstrual cycle. Now, to make matters worse, usually after menopause, women have a tendency to put on some weight, maybe 5, 10, 15 pounds. You might stop exercising as much, and that can raise your risk of cholesterol. So there's all sorts of problems there. If you sit a lot, how many people sit a lot like me? I have to force myself to get up and move. I see patients. I don't see as many patients as I used to. I've cut back on actually seeing a lot of patients. So my other doctors see the patients, but I have to do the consultations. I have to do the analysis with the patients. I meet with every new patient that comes in our office if they want to meet with me. And what happens is I tend to find myself doing more research and getting ready for radio shows and podcasts and TV appearances. And so I sit more than I used to. So I have to make a conscious effort that every hour I get up and I move for about 5 minutes. And I want you to do that too. I want you to get up and move as often as you possibly can. Go for a walk. At my office, I go out. There's a beautiful walking trail right behind my office. Life University backs up to one of my offices. And on campus, they have this beautiful walking trail. So I'll go out to the walking trail and just go for a walk. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. But get up and move. So important for so many different things. So if you sit a lot, that's not going to be good. I want you to get up and move. So we're talking today about why you might have high cholesterol. And we talked a bit about stress. I'm going to circle back to that for a second. We talked about stress. And stress is so vital to so many aspects of our life. But if you're in pain, now I'm a chiropractor. I'm board certified in pain management. I'm board certified in orthopedics. I'm double board certified in nutrition. When I see pain patients come in, many times I read their blood work, and the blood work says they have high cholesterol. So I'll say to them, have you ever had high cholesterol before? No. When did the pain start? Well, a year ago. When did the cholesterol start? Well, a year ago or 6 months ago. And so I look at this and I say, maybe there's a correlation here. It's not coincidental that suddenly you have high cholesterol. It's a fact that you're in pain. Pain raises cortisol levels. Cortisol causes the body to raise cholesterol levels. So if you have pain, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica, folks, come see us. My team of doctors and I, my opinion, are some of the finest pain management doctors in the world. And we don't use drugs and we don't use surgery unless we have to. So if you want to make an appointment in the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Book an appointment to come see us. Do it now. Stop putting it off. Well, Dr. Joe, I understand, but it's my birthday, it's the holidays, it's Christmas, I'm traveling. Stop the excuses. Make the appointment now. Because every day that goes by, we've talked about pain and how that raises cortisol levels. We talked bones out of place can lead to osteoarthritis. They're rubbing up against each other. Pain prevents proper sleep. Pain is exhausting. It wears you out. So we've covered so many topics on pain in the past, but now we're talking about how it affects your cholesterol levels. Pain raises cortisol. Cortisol raises cholesterol. So come see us. You can book it right now. Normally the first visit is $940 for an in-person visit. We've reduced that for my listeners to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays on your follow-up visit, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Why are you not making that appointment right now? It's a rhetorical question. Don't answer it. Just make the appointment. drjoe.com. That's for you, your friends, your family, and your children. Kids have spines. If they have problems when they're children, they grow up crooked. They grow up wearing joints out. The nervous system isn't working properly. I believe, and I don't know why the whole world doesn't believe this, that chiropractic care should be the portal of entry for most health problems. Chiropractic and nutrition. I don't know why. Well, I know why it's not. There's other businesses out there. But chiropractic, most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain, and we throw in nutrition for you as part of the protocol. drjoe.com. Book your appointment right now. So if you're just tuning in, what we're talking about today are why you might have high cholesterol, the causes of high cholesterol, surprising cause of high cholesterol. Liver problems. This can be an issue. Your liver produces, and breaks down cholesterol. So your liver makes cholesterol, sends it out into the blood, and it's used for a lot of different things. It's used to produce hormones and make cell walls, and whatever not used, it kind of goes back into the liver and gets recycled. And I did a show several years ago on this, and one of the reasons why people might have high cholesterol is that they're producing it properly, they're utilizing it properly, but it's not being recycled properly. Simply put, the recycling bin in your liver is clogged. And so the liver isn't taking back that cholesterol, so the cholesterol levels start to rise. So that's why it's so important to clean out the liver. When your liver doesn't work properly, it can affect cholesterol levels. One of the most common conditions that we see now is something called non-alcoholic fatty liver. Now, when I went to school, if you had fatty liver, you were an alcoholic. That was that. Now we're finding non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome in children up to 5 years old. Why? Too much sugar, especially the sugar called high fructose corn syrup. I want you to make a commitment to yourself right now. You can make it to me too. But make a commitment to yourself right now. If anything from now on, if it says high fructose corn syrup as an ingredient, you don't eat it. Done. You know it's processed. It's probably made from genetically modified sources of corn. If it's genetically modified, they've probably used things like glyphosate to spray on the products. There's probably glyphosate residual in there. And if you want to get the gross factor, most sugar is filtered through charcoal. And the charcoal they use for most sugar now is charred animal bones. They char the animal bones and then filter the sugar through it. So if you're vegan, or if you really care about animals or your health, whatever, you want to stay away from sugar at all costs. So the sugar creates a big issue. And it affects nearly 1 in 4 adults, called non-alcoholic fatty liver. I bet you it's probably higher than that. That's what's actually being tested. A lot of people have it and don't get tested. So non-alcohol, it causes the liver to swell and to scar, and that can lead to liver cirrhosis. So what I do for my liver, and again, I don't eat a lot of sugar. I certainly don't drink alcohol, because that's another thing that can raise your cholesterol levels, is I take a supplement called glutathione. Glutathione is on my website, drjoe.com, and it's the master antioxidant, we call it. It's the biggest antioxidant, the most important one in the body, and it does a lot to help the liver stay healthy. I also take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, because Super Greens has chlorella in it, and chlorella helps detoxify the liver and clean out that fatty liver. So for my liver health, it's certainly Super Greens and Essential Source and glutathione. Now, I think everybody should be taking Super Greens, Essential Source, and glutathione. If you're not willing to do anything else for your health, at least do Super Greens and Essential Source. They're 2 powders. They taste great. They're on the website, drjoe.com. And I just take a scoop of each. I mix it up with some coconut milk, almond milk. Coconut milk's good. But I usually buy whatever on sale. Shake it up, and I drink that every morning. I also add my vitamin D to that, because most people are deficient in vitamin D as well. I take 5 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D, vitamin D3 with K2. I won't go into that why, but if you're taking vitamin D3, you have to take K2 with it. Or you have to have a perfect diet. And I won't go into that as to why today. Super Green Essential Source, vitamin D, glutathione. That's really good combination to help keep the liver healthy. And the liver, again, is where cholesterol is produced and then recycled. And I don't know why you wouldn't do something as simple and easy and inexpensive as that. Because maybe you don't know. Well, now you know. No more excuses. So drjoe.com, great place to make appointments. If you have any questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. I'm happy to answer any questions for you. A little bot pops up, says, hey, you got a question? I'm happy to answer them for you. I also want you to do me a favor. I want you to follow me on social media, at Dr. Joe Esposito, all one word, at Dr. Joe Esposito. We post every single day. In fact, I just met with my people that do my posting with me, and they said, you need to make more posts. I said, okay. You're going to get health tips every single day. It shows up Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Just follow us on all platforms, at Dr. Joe Esposito. You are going to be amazed how much health information you're going to get. And here's how we do it. We do it 1 minute at a time. I give you 1 minute posts. Pretty cool, huh? So drjoe.com, I think you should go ahead and make an appointment to come see us. Send us any questions. Search the website, and all the supplements are on the website, drjoe.com. Other things that could be causing your high cholesterol. Nobody talks about what causes it. Too much alcohol. One study found that men who drank heavily, roughly 4.5 drinks or more at once, doesn't even say in a day, but at once, had worse cholesterol levels compared to those that don't. I know this is true because I have friends that drink, and every single one of them that drinks, and if they're over 60, have some type of cholesterol issues. So why would you do that? Alcohol is one of my 7 deadly sins, too. Pregnancy, this is important. I want you to understand this. When you're pregnant, if you are pregnant, the fetus needs cholesterol to grow and develop. So that's why cholesterol levels raise up to 50% in the 2nd and 3rd trimesters. Now, they can stay elevated for about a month after birth. Now, this temporary spike is usually okay. Don't worry about it. If you're pregnant, You need that. The baby needs that cholesterol, and it's so important for normal brain function and spinal cord function, that you have that high cholesterol. So if you are pregnant and you have high cholesterol, that's okay. Now, stay away from the alcohol, of course, and the sugars and everything else we talked about. If you have kidney problems, that can be an issue as well. Research shows that high cholesterol may harm the kidney function and raise the risk of kidney disease. When I went into practice many years ago, I never heard about kidney problems. Now I have probably 2 or 3 patients a week come to see us in our clinics in the Atlanta area for kidney issues. And we have a protocol that works pretty well, too. So, folks, again, I'm almost out of time for this segment. If you have any questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer them for you. Make an appointment, drjoe.com, and follow us on social media, at Dr. Joe Esposito. Okay. Bam. Oh, it's Pam. It's Pam sneaking in.
Big question.
Big question. Is it capital letters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exclamation points.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm serious.
Why can't Super Greens and Essential Source be one product?
Garrett, why don't you answer that for us? I'll answer it. Put Garrett on the spot like he always does me. It can be one product. Just mix them together. It's just that simple. The reason is that some people have financial issues and they only want one or the other. Really, I don't know why. It's so inexpensive. But they do 2 different things. But what I do when I get my Super Greens and Essential Source, I have one original container, and I just mix them up and shake them together, and that's how it's done. So it would be the same as if you mix it yourself or if we do it separately. So just mix it yourself. When I travel, I certainly mix it together, and it's one big Ziploc bag, and that's how I take it. So, but, yeah, it can be one product if you want it to be.
Another big question, or small, depending on who you ask.
All right, I'm sitting down.
Maybe small if we're asking you. Does polyester underwear affect testosterone?
It can actually, and that's funny you'd say that. I'm glad you brought that up. I haven't talked about that in years. Yeah, because it has chemicals in it that can alter your hormones. Those are called endocrine disrupting hormones. And that's why whenever you buy clothes, no matter what kind of clothes it is, underwear, shirts, socks, whatever, wash them first. Never wear them fresh out of the bag, because there are chemicals on it, oftentimes endocrine disrupting hormones, that can be an issue. Now, if you use it over time and wash them several times, you're probably going to wash out a lot of that. But polyester also carries an electrical charge with it. It can affect the electricity around your body. And so that's another issue, too. It's not going to be the cause of testosterone problems, but it could be a cause.
Now, is there a link between being overweight and having high cholesterol?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, obesity is certainly one of the players in high cholesterol. Now, that being said, people that are skinny have high cholesterol too. But if you're overweight, many health issues, including that. Now, I used to be fat, so I understand the struggle that people have with food. And here's the thing. I've been studying biochemistry, nutrition, neurophysiology, natural health for 40 years. I don't struggle every day with food anymore. I struggle every meal with food. I have to look at a meal and say, is this going to be the best choice that I can make right now? And if it is, I eat it. Went to a Mexican restaurant the other day. And I was there with a group of my adopted family. And I was there, and there, some people are eating chicken and some people eating steak. Of course, I won't do that. So I said, well, I want something that doesn't have meat in it. And they said, well, you want to do the black beans, not the refried beans. Refried beans have pork in them. Most companies don't do that anymore, but this place did. I said, okay, the refried beans. So I created a bowl, basically. It was refried beans. I had some sauteed vegetables on it. I put some salsa, some guacamole, lettuce, pico de gallo on it. And it was fine. And I should have toasted. I need to do this every time I go to a restaurant, and I'm going to do a series called Better Choices. And this is the better choice at this restaurant at this time. So I have to look at every meal I eat and say, what's going to be the best choice at this moment in time? And so that's why I want you to consider that. And if you are overweight, on our website, drjoe.com, type in 21-day in the search bar. And it's going to bring you to something called our 21-day detox program. It's a great way to jumpstart a weight loss protocol because it's so vital that we do that. We jumpstart it. In fact, I'm putting together a 4-part training program. I'm going to finish it actually tomorrow, strangely enough. And we're going to have a 4-part training program available on how to lose weight. So that's coming up soon. But the 21-day detox is a great way to reset your brain as well as start to lose weight. So the answer is yes. Way back when. The answer is yes.
I just made a very big choice as far as what I eat.
Okay.
I cut out caffeine about a week ago.
Did you really?
All of it.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And how you
Uh,
feeling?
well, I never thought that I had an issue sleeping,
Uh-huh.
and then 3 days without caffeine, and I'm falling asleep like a baby,
Excellent.
and have been for a couple of weeks now. So
It's all a journey. I mean, Garrett's been with me many, many years. We've worked together, and it's a journey. So it's okay to make these changes a little bit at a time, as long as you're constantly making a change. When you stop making changes, then it's a problem. So it does work. Obviously, it works. What else?
last one, can exercise reduce high cholesterol?
Yes, that's one of the things we're going to talk about in part 2. 16 tips to lower your cholesterol. If I get to all 16, I probably won't. But yeah, exercise is one of them. Absolutely.
Let's get started and see how far you get.
All right, good. Yeah. Garrett laughs at me. All right, we ready for part 2, John? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with me. If you're just joining us, what we're talking about today are causes of high cholesterol. You probably have it, but you never thought about why. Well, we're talking about why today, and then now we're going to talk about tips to help lower your cholesterol naturally without drugs or medications or surgeries or whatever else you're going to do. So if you're just tuning in, we covered a lot of things earlier, and we talked about the causes of high cholesterol. We discussed stress. Stress raises your cortisol level, which is a hormone that raises your blood sugar, and high blood sugar can raise your cholesterol levels. We talked about unfiltered coffee. There's chemicals in unfiltered coffee that can raise your cholesterol levels. So if you're going to drink coffee, organic, preferably decaf if possible, and make sure you use an unbleached filter. Keyword, they're unbleached. A lot of filters you use are bleached, and that can cause problems. Medications, thyroid disease. Your thyroid helps control cholesterol levels. How many people knew that? So if you have hypothyroidism, you may have high cholesterol levels. Menopause, sitting a lot, liver problems, pregnancy, kidney problems. So there's a lot of things that can raise your cholesterol level. When it comes to healthcare, I want today to be a day that you change the way you look at things. Whenever you have a health issue, I don't care if it's stomach cramps or headaches or back pain or high cholesterol, high blood pressure, I want you to ask yourself a question. Why do I have this? And I want you to start seeking the answer. Now, many times I'm your source, which is great. But let's find out why. And if we can get the American public, the world public, to think about why they have a condition, it's going to change healthcare forever. The simplest, easiest thing that you can do, and we can do as a collective, but you as an individual, is ask why. Why do I have these muscle cramps? Why do I have menstrual cramps? I had a patient come in the other day, just so made me think about it. I have menstrual cramps every day of every month of my life, Dr. Joe. Okay, did you ever think about why? She goes, no, I never thought about it. I always just put a heat pack on it and take medication. I lay in bed. I'm out of work for 2 days. And I checked her low back, and she had a pinched nerve in the low back, and that was the nerve that went to her uterus. I said, did you fall and hurt yourself when you were a child? She goes, I did. I remember falling roller skating with my family. And I said, okay, so she injured the nerve in the low back. That was the nerve to her uterus. And after just a few treatments, chiropractic treatments, she came in and she said, Dr. Joe, for the first cycle in my life, I didn't have cramps. So we found the cause of her cramps. I know she had them. Want to find out why. Same thing with cholesterol. Why do I have cholesterol? Why do I have high blood pressure? Why do I have type 2 diabetes? Sometimes it's genetic. Many times there's an answer for it. And I want to be your answer. I want to be your source for that. So let's talk about simple steps that you can do. You need to change lifestyle. You need to change. And everything I'm going to teach you, by the way, is not just for cholesterol. It's for overall health. Now, even if you're on a medication, don't stop your medication. My goal is I want to teach you things that you can do to bring the cholesterol down so low that your doctor says, you know what, Garrett, your cholesterol is so low right now, we're going to consider cutting back on your medication, or the ultimate goal, cutting out your medication. I'm not saying I have an answer to cut out medication. I'm saying let's do what we can to get you as healthy as we can, so hopefully you don't need that medication. Make sense? All right, so your body produces cholesterol. It needs it, like we talked about. It needs it for hormone production. It needs it for cell production. Now, many people have too much, especially what's called the LDL, the low density lipoprotein. We call that the bad cholesterol. Now, this can happen if you eat too much saturated fat, which is found in animal products. If your LDL levels are too high, that's the cholesterol that can stick to the artery walls. So here's another twist on cholesterol. It's not so much the cholesterol floating around in the blood that's bad. It's the cholesterol that's stuck to the artery walls. And when the cholesterol sticks to the artery walls, that causes hardening of the arteries. And the reason the body does this, once again, ask yourself this question: why do I have hardening of the arteries? You put stress on the blood vessels, chemical stress, physical stress. The blood vessels are stressed out, and they're elastic. They expand and contract, okay? So I keep stretching out this elastic, but I'm not contracting it properly. So the body says, I got to make this elastic band, this blood vessel, thicker, stronger, more elastic, so that it doesn't burst. So the body lays down cholesterol kind of like a scab or a spackle to make the walls thicker so the blood vessels become stronger. Well, the trade-off is they lose their elasticity. They're not as elastic as they used to be. And so now the cholesterol lays down and narrows the lumen, the opening in the blood vessel. And as the blood vessel gets narrower and narrower, the blood can't flow through it as smoothly, and that can do several things. Number one, can raise your blood pressure. But number two, if a piece of this plaque breaks off and starts floating around in the blood, it's going to end up somewhere. And it goes to bigger vessels, to smaller vessels, to smaller vessels. Eventually, it's bigger than the blood vessel. It clogs up the blood vessel. If it's in your brain, it's called a stroke. If it clogs up a blood vessel in your heart, it's called a heart attack. If it clogs up blood vessel in your lungs, it's called a pulmonary embolism. And so you don't want to have this cholesterol building up on the artery walls because it can break off and raise the pressure. But why is it building up to begin with? And it's building up because of stress on the artery wall, mental, physical, or chemical stress. And so that's why we want to fix that. So the LDL is it's the cholesterol that comes out from the liver. The HDL is the high density lipoproteins. That's a good cholesterol. That's the one that takes the cholesterol and brings it back to the blood, into the liver, to be recycled and broken down. So the HDLs clears up the LDLs from your blood. And there's VLDLs. This is, again, very, very basic lecture on cholesterol. So let's talk about some things that you need to do. Number one is you eat too much. So it's easy to eat too much, especially when you eat out and the portions are huge. Now, this can lead to weight gain. That can lead to high cholesterol. Also, bad fats are used. We did a show a while ago on omega-6 fatty acids, how dangerous they are, and that's the seed oils. Corn, soy, canola oils, mixed vegetable oils, cottonseed oils, safflower oils, sunflower oils. The sunflower seed unto itself is not bad. But when you process it, and then you have to take it, extract it out from the plant, they usually use things like hexene or other known carcinogenics, and we take that out, and then we have to deodorize it, and we add other chemicals to it to deodorize it, and then many times it goes rancid in the process. So the seed itself is not bad. The seed oil is processed, and it is. So I want you to consider this. I want you to consider eating less food. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, goes into my weight loss classes that I teach too. When you eat food, it sends a message to your stomach. The stomach releases a hormone called leptin. Leptin is released into the blood, goes into the hypothalamus in your brain, and it says, I'm full. So your hypothalamus is a regulatory organ in your brain. It's part of your brain, and it says, okay, I'm getting a message from the leptin. I'm full. I can stop eating. Well, what we oftentimes do is we eat too fast, and it doesn't give the body time enough to produce the leptin to go up into the hypothalamus. Or we're eating foods that the brain doesn't want. The brain wants nutrients. It doesn't want food. When you're hungry, you're not hungry for food. You're hungry for nutrition. And so I want to give your body the nutrition that it needs. So a couple of tricks I want you to do that you're going to eat a lot less food with. Number one, it takes 20 minutes to get the leptin from your stomach to your brain. And so I want you to have a snack before every meal. Now, that snack could be a small handful of nuts, avocados. Those work well. I have a half an avocado. If I have a whole avocado, many times I don't even eat a meal because avocados are so filling to me. You could even take a little bit of extra virgin organic coconut oil. maybe a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half, 2 teaspoons, and eat that. And you're going to be amazed. When it comes time to eat, you're going to eat so much less food. So nuts, avocados, these are all good snacks to make you feel full very quickly. And then when you sit down and eat, you're going to make better choices. Because if you're human, and I'm assuming most of you are, if you're human, when you sit down, you want to satisfy that hunger. And you don't care how you do it. I'm going to eat pizza with cheese, processed cheese food spread on it, and gluten dough. And I'm going to eat cookies and cakes and chips and donuts and pastas. And I just want to satisfy this hunger, baby. I want immediate satisfaction. And it's easy to do that. But if you give yourself 20 minutes, you're going to be amazed how much less you eat. And then you're sort of starting to feel satisfied. And you're going to say, what can I eat that's a better choice? A trick that I've done in the past is I'll take an extra serving of Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Now, if you don't know what those are, they're 2 powders. They're supplement powders. And I just shake it up with some coconut milk or almond milk in a small jar and drink it. And I've done this many times if I'm going out to a party or if I'm going to be around maybe not the best choice foods. And it's amazing how much less you eat. I had a patient come in a long time ago, and I've heard it many times since then. And he said, Dr. Joe, I can't afford not to take Super Greens and Essential Source. And I didn't understand the statement. What do you mean you can't afford not to? They said, when I take it, I eat so much less food that I'm saving a fortune, and I'm losing weight, and I feel great. So, caloric restriction and timed eating, intermittent fasting, are some of the best ways to lose weight. And so if you're not starving and you're not ravenous when you go to the dinner table, you're going to make better choices. So a lot more fruits and vegetables, a lot of fiber. Another thing we can do to lower our cholesterol is boost your omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids are what's called essential fatty acids. That means you have to get them from an outside source. And you can get them from things like fish, not a good source, by the way. Especially if you cook the fish. When you cook the fish, like at high temperatures, like frying it even, you destroy a lot of the omega-3 fatty acids. So if you think you're eating fish for omega-3s, not a good choice, especially if you cook it. And then fish are oftentimes loaded with mercury and heavy metals, and that's a whole nother lecture on fish. But I take a Dr. Joe's omega-3 fatty acid supplement every day. You should too. And it's on the website, drjoe.com, and we get it from algae. It's the purest form of omega-3 out there, and you're less likely to have it go rancid, and you're less likely to have toxicity like mercury. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today, first we talked about why you might have high cholesterol, very surprising causes of what can cause high cholesterol, and now we're talking about things you can do, proactive steps you can do to lower that cholesterol. So your diet, of course, is big. Taking omega-3 fatty acid supplements. You've heard people talk about oatmeal. Oatmeal is a good way to lower cholesterol. Well, there is some research on that. However, be careful of the type of oatmeal you eat. If you're going to eat oatmeal, the best kind is steel cut. Groats is the big whole oatmeal. That's hard to cook. But steel cut is the best. Now, steel cut takes a long time to cook. Many of you probably don't have steel cut oats. So if you're going to do old-fashioned oats, the kind that you think about, those little flat little circles, I want to make sure it's organic only. It's one of those have to be organic foods. Because we spray a lot of glyphosate on our oats. We do it on our wheat as well. Glyphosate is a weed killer. It also can affect the bacteria in your colon. It acts as an antibiotic. It's been called a potential or known carcinogenic. And so if you're going to do oats, they have to be organic only. Don't be feeding your kids non-organic oats. You're giving them this glyphosate, which can cause brain damage and affect their organs, affect their liver, affect their colon. So organic only oats. So oats are okay. You can also do things like quinoa. I was stuck for a meal the other day, so I had some quinoa in my refrigerator, in my pantry. I boiled it up. It's like 1 cup of quinoa for 2 cups of water. Boiled it up, and then I added some mixed vegetables to it. I added some seasoning to it. It's perfect. It was great. What I had was I had parsley in my refrigerator. It was about to go bad, so I made a parsley quinoa salad. Then I added some mixed vegetable to it, a little bit of lemon juice. Spectacular. So whole grains are okay because the fiber pushes the food through your colon, and you get a slow release of sugar, which is also good. Remember we said earlier, sugar can raise your cholesterol. But it also wraps around a lot of the cholesterol and carries it out of the body, so it doesn't get recycled. So that's why whole grains, like oats especially, have something called soluble fiber in them. That's that slimy stuff, okra, Also high in soluble fiber. Great way to clean out the colon and keep the cholesterol levels low. Nuts are great. Almonds, pecans, pistachios, walnuts, tasty little treat. They're high in something called monounsaturated fats. If you listen to the show I did on fats a couple of weeks ago, we talked about saturated fats, really bad. Monounsaturated fats, good. Polyunsaturated fats, those omega-6 fatty acids, bad. So the thought was if saturated fats were bad, the less saturated it is, the polyunsaturated fats, that would be good. Not true. It didn't work out that way. So the monounsaturated fats, the things you're going to find in like nuts and seeds, those are better. Once they're processed, like into sunflower oil versus sunflower seeds or avocado oil is okay. But the nut oils, they become rancid in many cases, and it's too concentrated, it's too processed. So nuts are okay, but here's the thing about nuts. They're very fattening. So when people say to me, number one question I get about weight is how do I lose weight? Number two is how do I gain weight? I say, you want to gain weight, eat more nuts and seeds. Now, I'm okay eating a handful or two of nuts or seeds every day. That's okay. But don't sit down to a jar of nuts and eat them all. It's way too much fat, way too fattening for the body. In fact, we even learned that pistachios are high in melatonin, and melatonin helps the body sleep. It's a great antioxidant, helps fight cancer. So, interesting, useless fact about pistachios there. Again, small portion. Make sure they're not covered in sugar and chocolate and salt and everything else. Those are not the good kind of nuts. So if you're just tuning in, folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about causes of high cholesterol, and now we're talking about what to do about it, things you can do every day to bring it down. Stay away from the saturated fats. That's meat, butter, cheese, yogurt, eggs, ice cream. Stay away from the animal products. There is no secret about that animal products can raise your cholesterol. Now, I haven't had an animal product in 38 years. I'm not asking you to do that. But this is what I do know. If you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. If you knew what I know about health, about the spine, the nervous system, the digestive system, diet, supplementation, you would be doing it automatically and organically. You'd never even think twice about it. But you don't know what I know. But that's what I'm trying to teach you. Back pain. The number one treatment for back pain is chiropractic care. Most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain, leg pain, foot pain, knee pain. So if you have pain, come see us. Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We would love to be your doctors. So drjoe.com, you can book it right online. We can get you into any one of our 4 offices this week, whenever you're listening to this week. Because we always leave appointments open for new patients because we know how important it is to get in as quickly as you can. And stop procrastinating. Stop suffering needlessly. So if you want us to be your doctors, wouldn't it be cool for us to be your doctors? To try to get to the cause of your healthcare problem? And don't stop seeing your other doctors. Let's work together to try to put together a protocol that's best for you. Maybe it is chiropractic care, maybe it's not. We'll be the captain of your health ship. We'll steer the ship and get you to where you need to be in most cases. So drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. We've reduced that to $299 for our listeners. That's exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, and on a second visit going over the x-rays and a complete nutrition evaluation. Folks, we're going to get you on a journey to getting well and staying well. And we accept most insurances. It depends if your insurance covers us. We accept you. We have cash plans available, payment plans available with no interest. We can't make it easier for you. drjoe.com. And if you're ever in a car accident, I am on my knees begging you, please come see us immediately. Don't waste time because the insurance companies will say, you didn't go to the doctor right away. You weren't hurt. It's a big game, these insurance companies. So drjoe.com will get you in right away. And if somebody calls you, say, go to see this doctor, go see this attorney, it's a scam. No one is ever going to call you to tell you to go see a doctor. They stole your information off the internet from the police report, and it's a scam. Don't become involved in a scam. It can cost you your health. It can cost you a lot of money. And it might cost you freedom. I don't know about that. So drjoe.com. We'd love to be part of your healthcare team. And the supplements we talked about, the Super Greens, the Essential Source, the omega-3 fatty acids, all those are on our website, drjoe.com. We ship the next day, next business day, sometimes the same business day. So if you want to order the supplements, order them online. Please, folks, at least Super Greens and Essential Source. Add the vitamin D. That's so important. Add the glutathione to clean out your liver, and then we can customize a plan specifically for you. So we can do in-person appointments, or we can do remote if we need to as well. So other things to help lower your cholesterol naturally without drugs and surgery. We talked about the fiber, beans, brown rice, quinoa. I prefer wild rice actually above brown rice. Fiber doesn't spike your blood sugar and pushes the food through the colon and give you a slow release of sugar. Try to stay away from the whites, the white breads, the white sugars, the white flours, the pastries, the cookies, the cakes, the donuts, the pastas. You say, but Dr. Joe, but it's my birthday, it's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, I'm going to a party. I don't care. Go to the party. Have fun. But is it worth risking your health? The answer is no. Especially in the wintertime when people are sick all the time and sugar just blows out your immune system. So go to the party, have fun, have some seltzer, eat some carrots, and go out to dinner afterwards or go home and have dinner. You want to stay active. We talked about that. Every hour, get up and move about 5 minutes an hour. Now, even if you're sitting at your desk, bounce your legs. Keep the body in motion. Do something to keep that body in motion. We are not designed to be stagnant. We are designed to be in motion. And so get up, go for a walk. If you have to go to the bathroom in your office building, go down 2 or 3 floors. Take the stairs and use the bathroom 2 or 3 floors down. Park far away and walk. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Look for ways to keep your body in motion. Not going to tell you got to go out and work out every day for 2 hours. 5 minutes an hour. We're seeing some great results with something as simple as that. So walking is great. And you don't have to go to the gym. Garden, play with your kids, hike, go for a dance, walk your dog. Housework. I look at housework as a way to work out. That's a different way to set your mindset. I'm going to work out for an hour today by mopping my floors. Now, if you mop your floors or vacuum, you want to use about 2 or 3 strokes with the right arm and then 2 or 3 strokes with the left arm to create balance in your spine. That's my chiropractic background coming out here. Because if you're constantly doing the same thing over and over again on one side, it creates a muscular imbalance. So switch back and forth. You're washing the windows. Wash one window with the right hand, one window with the left hand. Brush your teeth with the opposite hand. Not only does it build muscular balance, but it stimulates the opposite part of your brain. Because the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, you want to use both sides of your brain as much as possible. So think about ways that you can switch up using your hands. Now, this isn't really necessary for cholesterol, but it could be. Because it helps the brain work better, which can lower your emotional stress, and stress raises cortisol levels. Cortisol releases sugar into the blood, and high sugar causes cholesterol to be a problem. So yes, even something like washing your windows, brushing your teeth, can make a big difference on the integration of your brain. Not the segregation of the brain, the integration of the brain, and the whole body works more efficiently. How cool is that? Again, if you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. There's no question in my mind that if you had the knowledge that I have about health, you would be jumping on every single thing I say. Because here's the thing. Everything I've ever taught you in the past 40 years, I do myself. I integrate everything I do. And one of the best parts about being who I am is I'm researching every single day. Not just for you, but for me. And if it's something I'm going to incorporate in my life, I want to share it with you. This isn't a lecture, folks. This is me sharing. This is me sharing the knowledge that I know that works. And again, it's stuff you can do every day that's free. It doesn't cost you to get up and go for a 5-minute walk. It doesn't cost you to help lower your mental, physical, and chemical stress in most cases. It doesn't cost you to eat less sugar. So that's why I want to get you well and keep you well. Folks, I got so much more to cover. I'm almost out of time. If you have any health questions, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Follow me on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We post every single day. We post information. It's 1-minute clips in most cases. So it's not going to take up a lot of your time, drjoe.com. The supplements we talked about, Super Green, Essential Source, nitric oxide, we didn't talk about that to increase circulation, but all the supplements are on our website, drjoe.com. If you have specific questions about them, let me know what they are. But we want to be your doctor. But the most important thing you can do is make an appointment, either in person or virtually. You can do it online, drjoe.com. My staff is more than happy to help you with any questions you might have. We accept most insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. I want to naturally get you well and keep you well. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. drjoe.com. I'll catch you next time. All right. What do you have? What do you have?
Well, first up, someone on Instagram asked if we could share this recording when it's over. And for all platforms and all viewers and listeners, all of these shows, depending on the platform you're on, are archived at the end of the show. So you can come back, you can watch older shows. Also, if you're a fan of any specific podcast application, we are on pretty much all of them. So this show is also sent out as a podcast on those channels. So yeah.
It's Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it on your podcast service. And I don't know how many hundreds of podcasts we have out there too. We post at least 2 podcasts a week. So
what is the ideal amount of cholesterol or the ideal number?
it depends on you. I know everybody's got their own thing about what's, 200 is probably where you want to be. But again, if you're pregnant, it's going to be higher. So probably 199. Let's say that's the total. But then you have the high density, low density, very low density lipoproteins, the triglycerides. But yeah, total is around 199. Let's say that.
It's 2 numbers. What do they mean?
HDL and LDLs. Those are the 2 numbers they have. So the HDLs are the high density lipoproteins. Those are the good cholesterols. Those are the ones that carry the cholesterol out of the blood back into the liver. And there's a low density lipoprotein. So you want to have the ratio is really what's important. But generally speaking, if you're doing everything right, you're going to have a good ratio. So what else?
Now, 3-day fasts have become really popular, but are they healthy?
One of the best things you can do for your body. Absolutely. Yep. Now, make sure you drink a lot of water because you need water. You don't need food. You need water. And you can also do Super Greens and Essential Source 1, 2, 3 times a day, and that doesn't break your fast. So that gives you the nutrients to make the fast even better. So,
would you consider honey a healthy sweetener?
no. It's loaded with fructose. A lot of the honey you buy, too, is not real. Honey and olive oil are 2 things that oftentimes aren't real. And I just did an experiment recently, and I don't want to put any brand names out there. That's why I haven't recorded this. But you take your olive oil, you put it in the refrigerator, and it should get cloudy overnight. Next day, it should be cloudy. If it's not cloudy, it's mixed with seed oils and cheap oils. Every brand I purchased so far has not gotten cloudy. They're all cut. 70 to 80% of all the olive oil in the world is cut. Same thing with honey. Many times, if it's not a local honey, they use high fructose corn syrup or sugar water, and they mix it in and add some colors to it, and they call it honey. So honey, not a good choice. If you're going to do honey, make sure it's organic and make sure it's local.
Speaking of, what about agave syrup?
Agave came out a while ago, and I remember hearing it doesn't spike your blood sugar. It's the greatest thing in the world. And I bought it lock, stock, and barrel. And then I did the research on it. And the reason it doesn't spike your blood sugar is because the sugar that goes up in your blood is called fructose. Fructose is the thing, glucose is measured in your blood. Fructose is a sugar that has to be converted into glucose before it goes into your blood and raises the blood sugar. So agave wasn't spiking blood sugar, and I said, it tastes sweet. Why isn't it spiking the blood sugar? Well, it turns out that it's about 85% fructose. High fructose corn syrup is only 55% fructose. So it's so much fructose in the agave that it doesn't spike your blood sugar right away. But in the process, that fructose has to be converted into glucose. And when it is, it gives off uric acid as a waste product. Uric acid gets into your joints and it hurts. And uric acid prevents the body from producing nitric oxide, which opens up your blood vessels and increases circulation to your heart, your lungs, your brain, your sex organs. And so the agave is so high in fructose that it's actually extremely dangerous and one of the worst things you can put in your body. So don't use agave.
And how are you?
Thanks for asking. I'm very good, actually. I had a great weekend. Got some exercise done, got some house cleaning done. That's what made me think about it. That was my workout this weekend. And life is great. Practice is great. Radio shows are great. Everybody here is great. So life's great. And you can be great too. Just come see us. We'll make that, you become part of the health family. What else you got? That's it?
That's it.
Thanks for asking. All right, folks, I appreciate you being here. Again, if you're listening live, put in hashtag live. If you're listening on replay, put in hashtag replay. Follow us on all social media platforms at Dr. Joe Esposito. And if you're a podcast junkie, Dr. Joe for the health of it. And we post at least twice a week. So I'd love to see you this week in the office. And if you have any questions, send it to me through the website, Dr.